What up, witches, and welcome to Witchin and Bitchin, a podcast. I'm your host, Darren.
And I'm Vicky. How are you all today? I hope you're doing really, really well. I didn't go quite as high as last time.
That's okay, though, which doesn't surprise me considering we've recorded this back to back. So if you're watching us on the YouTube, no, we haven't happened to pick up the same items of clothing the next week.
And I have washed my clothes. I do wash my clothes in between.
We decided while we're on such a run from last episode, if you haven't listened to it, go back and listen. We thought we'd just double it up. Going. Let's just keep recording them out, smashing them out. Follow this wave because everyone wants some... I don't know why I'm doing that. Know. What the hell am I
I'm not
on?
sure where that's going.
No.
That's a tangent I don't think I can bring you back from. Come on.
So this is what happens when we're on a high. It just now we have to control the energy levels.
We do.
So bring it down.
Just take a nice... Let's get everybody to do it. Everybody who's listening, just close your eyes for a moment. Unless you're driving, then please don't close your eyes. Just take a minute. And then just all take a nice, big, gentle inhale. And a nice, big exhale through the mouth. There we go. Okay, now we're good to go.
I think I prefer the Madam Adam version.
Yeah, I know.
Unclench your jaw, in the nose, out the mouth, bitch. Like, I was like, wow.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
If you do not know what I'm talking about, go onto TikTok or Instagram, find Madam Adam. He does his unclench your jaw, a few minutes of like self-care. Like, love it.
I'm a bad bitch.
Yeah, I'm a bad bitch. Yeah, no man Pam. Like, yeah. I'm obsessed. Obsessed.
Yes.
Shout out to Adam.
That's it.
Yeah.
All his affirmations. I am powerful. I can't remember all of them now. I know I'm a bad bitch, and then there's something else at the end. It's like a worthy or something like that, which is really cool.
Yeah. All the things that you should be saying on the daily anyway. But
that's right.
Yeah, it's like you're like, take your cleansing breath. Such a
I know.
yogi.
It was
such a yogi.
That was my yogi voice. That was my meditation and yogi voice. It does come out. Well, because we were very high energy, I was trying to help bring it down a little bit.
I'm waiting tumbleweeds. Like,
no,
sure.
Okay,
that's gonna work. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
All right. So, what are we talking about now?
Well, on the piggyback of a previous episode, so we've obviously a couple of episodes ago we talked about witch poster syndrome.
Yeah.
And then the last episode we recorded, we were talking about how to find your mojo back, and we were talking about the little things that we've done.
Yeah.
To slowly get us back onto riding the wave that is our personal craft. Yeah. Following the breadcrumbs back to the Wicked Witch's little candy.
Yeah, I really did love that analogy. I liked that one. Metaphor, whatever it is. I like it.
You're welcome. But what we wanted to do now, because this is something that we talked about off camera, and we thought it was pretty relevant and interesting, and
hopefully you do
too. Otherwise, happy to take the blame for this one. But one of the things that we reflected on is because Vicky you'd said it in the last couple of episodes about your meditation practice, and you got to a point where it just became too big and over the top that it was like, ain't nobody got time for that.
No, it became a chore, and because I had to do, it was like a shoulds. I need to do this part. I need to do this. I need to do this. This is what it should look like because this is what I've done. Yeah, it became too big and too overwhelming.
And for me, that was like, you all know that I enrolled into Temple of Witchcraft, and I know in no way am I speaking bad about the School of Mystery. I actually really like them as an institution.
Yeah.
But I had a real issue getting through the content.
Yeah.
Still do. I'm being open with it, just in case Christopher or anyone else from the school is listening to this, because they know, because I've been emailing them saying, I'm so sorry, I'm late with my homework or whatever. But I got to this point where it was literally like, by totally academicizing, intellectualizing
everything,
whatever the word is,
yeah,
going so heavy on this is the way to do it. I kind of felt like it was almost like my inner saboteur was standing in my way.
Yeah,
I'm actually getting the things done.
Yeah,
because I was trying to overthink and over strategize on how to word this and how to do this and how to construct this and how to, like, one time I literally went out and I thought I had to buy all these herbs that I didn't have just to do this thing. And then the dean was like, you could have just handed it in because you didn't need to pick all the herbs. You only need to pick a few. I'm like,
but in true you form, I had to do all the things.
All the things. Overachiever. Every single herb. And then when they said, because it had rubbing alcohol in the thing, and they said you had to wait for the flame to go out, I literally sat there for 3 hours and it was still burning, and I had places to go, but I didn't want to blow it out because I didn't want to fuck up the spell. So I literally sat outside in the freezing freaking cold.
Yeah, I was going to say that was when it was cold too.
Yeah. And I was like watching this flame crackle on. I'm like, oh my God, I can't stay out here any longer. Every part of my body is freezing. So it's that whole thing. We wanted to address that of the times when we just feel like we have to Wikipedia everything.
Yeah. And like if you've been reading a lot of things or doing things in a particular way, or if you're doing a ritual or things like that, and you've got particular words and things like that to say, like I have from even back in days when I was in Covenant, we would have ritual that would be quite scripted because we'd all have our parts and all the things of it. And you'd have wording that sometimes I could get too caught up in making sure that I had all the words memorized and making sure that I had all of the stuff that I was actually, it's really easy. And especially when you've been doing like a lot of reading and stuff like that, to actually just kind of go through the motions and just do the words or just say the things, or because I was too busy trying to make sure that I had it all right and it was all perfect and all the rest of it, that I completely lost the feeling into it, the reason why I was doing it or what I was trying to connect to, or all of those kind of things. Like it's so easy to just kind of really go through the motions a little bit.
You just gave me a flashback of my childhood while saying that stuff. This shows where my brain goes. I literally had a flashback to me sitting in church. Yeah. Because I had to go every Sunday. Yeah. In my Sunday best. Mm-hmm. And being in Catholic church, and literally as soon as the priest would say "Our Father," the whole congregation would join in, "Who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name," and it would literally just sound like a bunch of droning people. And like it's like as a kid I never understood. I was just like, I looked around like everyone knows the words except me, and I thought I was the odd one out that didn't know. Like, where's the book? Well, but then like now as an adult and you saying that, it's like, it's funny because even that, like I took that as very much an autopilot thing, that the people who were going because they had to go. They felt like it was like,
it was the thing to do.
You need to be there. You need to say the words. But I wonder how many of them actually understood the words that were saying.
Yeah. Do you know, like one of the most eye-opening and probably thought-provoking things that I did, this was actually in Coven, we really deconstructed the charge of the goddess. Because we would say that like every full moon and all the rest of it. And like, don't go wrong, we would feel into it or whatever. But it's very easy to just recite something and to just continually recite something. And maybe you have your idea of what it means or what you're saying it to or anything like that. But when we actually like really like took a long time to actually deconstruct each line and each word and discuss it and all of those sort of things, all of a sudden it had completely different meaning and completely different feel to it when we were actually saying it, like when you would actually say it or anything like that. Like it was just so easy, those kind of things. It's the same kind of thing where it's just on autopilot. You're saying the things because this is what I should do at this particular time. And so I say it, but you kind of lose that spark. You lose that original reason why you're actually saying the things, what you're actually doing. You're trying to connect. Basically, for most of those things, it's in some aspect you're trying to connect with the divine or connect with spirits or connect with whatever, depending on your tradition and all of those kind of things. You are losing that connection. We're keeping it too much in our head and not actually into that felt sense and into that feeling of things, which is where, like, even just for me personally, like I said in the last episode about how yoga has been one of the things that's helped to bring me back. One of the reasons for that as well is because that helps me to get back into my body and out of my head, out of the mind and out of the intellectual side of things.
Are you saying that as a Gemini, you're too in your head?
No, never at all. But those kind of things are the way, that's one of the reasons for that it's actually helped me. And then moving into the mantras and things like that, where it's I can do that from a felt sense and a feeling and being in my body, not just an intellectual academic side of things.
Yeah. Yeah. And like, I don't think I've really talked about this, or maybe a little bit. way back when, maybe, perhaps. I'm not sure if I said it to you just in our conversation or on camera. I can't remember.
I know. Like, it all gets blurred in between now.
Yeah, but being like a book witch back in the day, I used to get so obsessed with I have to do it the right way.
Yes.
And I would end up not doing the things. I would end up not casting the spells. I would end up not doing any of the practices because I was like, in case I fucked it up. And I thought if I say the wrong word, then the gods are going to smite me and and it's not going to work. It's going to blow up in my face. And then the opposite effect will happen and all this. But like, then when I think about it now, as having come out of the funk and all that kind of stuff, and how all those things fell off the wagon, fell off the tracks, whatever, the wagon fell off the tracks. I don't know what analogy. That thing, it fell off. It broke. It fell off.
It's either fallen, it's broken.
It's broken.
Just wasn't doing its thing.
It's fucked. Anyway.
Basically, it's fucked.
But yeah, so then coming back into it again, I was like, I realized through doing this study that I was like, why am I sabotaging my own efforts here? Something that I've wanted to do for so many years, and I wanted to get into this course, and then for whatever reason, I'm projecting this version of me out there that just is pushing and rebelling and repelling everything that was being asked of me.
Yep.
And it wasn't until I had a deeper, meaningful with Christopher via email about it all that he said, just hand in what you've done. Don't overthink it. Don't deconstruct it and then have to reword it perfectly. Just hand it in. Let us give you the feedback, and then you can always do a do-over on the things that weren't done right.
Yeah.
Like they said,
just do the thing.
Just do it. Just do the thing and hand it in.
Yeah.
So, but it also reminds me of back when I used to not do anything. So like I was one of those witches that, I'm a witch. I've been a witch for this many years. Did I ever cast a circle? A handful of times. Why? Because I was scared that if I did things in the wrong order, that the gods wouldn't come down and the energy wouldn't be raised.
Wouldn't work.
It wouldn't work. And I'd rather it not backfire than to try. Yes. Which takes the magic out of the magic.
It does, because some of the biggest lessons are usually when we actually fuck something up. Really. That's when you learn the most. Yeah, that's right. There's some of the best
mistakes.
Yeah, that's right. You need to make mistakes. And can I ask you a question about the Temple of Witchcraft as well? Yes. Do you think no, it's okay. It's an easy
No, you can.
Do you think there's also that aspect that was rebelling against it as well is also because it was something that you had wanted for so long and had really wanted to do and to take it further, and it had been, I guess, almost like a dream to some degree of like a goal? Do you think that it had kind of too much pressure onto it a little bit, and to do it perfectly? Yes. And to sort of I need it to look like this because this is the thing. This is the big thing.
Like I'd already, as soon as I enrolled into the course, because we have to make a cord for our graduation. Yeah. We have to have a cord for around the robe. Because I bought myself a robe, got it custom made, all this stuff.
All the things.
Got myself wool, made my own cord, did cord magic to make the cord.
Yeah.
I went so far as to buying all 5 colors that I need for all 5 degrees, just so that, because I didn't want to have, if that wool was no longer available and then the other cords wouldn't match that wool.
Because, oh my God, what is going to happen if your wool does not match?
If it's not the same brand and viscosity.
It's not the same. But you know, like, isn't it?
This is what it's like to live in my head.
Yeah, I know. But you know what? Like, but I do the exactly same thing with so many things. And it's not until you sit here, like I laugh, but like I know exactly what it is. It's not until you actually sit here and verbalize it out loud that you go, that's fucking ridiculous.
You are a fucktard.
Like seriously, why was that stopping me from doing anything or whatever? But like at the time, it
was so important.
It was so important.
The same wool.
It's so rational. It's so like it has to be, and it's just like it is. But yeah, we can just beat ourselves up so much with what is in our minds. And I just wondered if that was also a lot of it is that you possibly just put too much pressure on yourself.
100%. It's the same thing as like anything that I've done, like my Book of Shadows.
Yes.
My Book of Shadows, because you've seen the pictures of it. My Book of Shadows is a work of art.
It is. It's
when it comes to the drawings, because I'm at
the part where I would never write in it because
I haven't written in it.
I know.
Look, I'm just going to be transparent with camera. For those watching, Let me just. So it's a beautiful book.
It is
I
beautiful.
spent so
make
much
sure you
money on this
explain
book.
it. Make sure you explain it so
yes,
people
of
just
course.
are listening.
So it's a leather bound, handmade
It's gorgeous.
book that has the triquetra on the front. It's in green leather. It looks exactly like the book on Charmed.
Yeah.
And it has even this insert on the inside of the cover is the
it's
exact
just
same
gorgeous.
print as on the one on Charmed. It's got the same color ribbon as the one on Charmed, because I'm obsessed with Charmed. And the parchment paper is individually done, like individually hole punched.
Like it's all hole punched and put in.
So worst case scenario, you can remove pages if you don't like them.
Yes.
But like as an example, let me just hang on. Which are the ones that I'm really proud of? Because that's the ones I'll show off.
Yeah, I always do that.
Hang on, let me just have a look. Hang on. I'm just kind of flicking through and seeing what I've got in here, because I can't even remember.
Just listen to how many he's flicked through right now.
How many pages I've got? Okay.
He's actually done.
So
it's so many.
Even just as much as like I did this like moon with some Celtic knotwork on the front inside edge.
It's gorgeous.
Oh, this is for all the sabbats. I've got little drawings of all the sabbats.
Like almost like little logo kind of things for each one.
I've got the triple goddess kind of symbol. The planets, because I was going to do a whole page about the planets, some of the gods and various magical items that I drew items that I actually have. So
they're yours.
One of my pendants, two of my rings that I actually wear, I've drawn them in here, like some of my spirit guides and what they look like to me, some of my other magical wares that have horns on them.
Which is also a really awesome thing to do as well, is to have not just a tool in there, but like your own personal items that you use.
But yeah, so from an artistic perspective about
gorgeous.
besoms and whatever, it's like I've done all this artwork.
It's gorgeous.
I've not written a single thing in it, but does that mean that I don't have an active Book of Shadows? No, I absolutely do. But my Book of Shadows is like look at this, even this tree with Celtic artwork.
It is, it's beautiful.
And like drawn in and colored it all in, blah, 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 whatever. But anyway, so it's because I spend so much time on making it perfect.
Yes.
That I never fucking finish it.
Yeah. And isn't that the thing? We're so caught up in so many aspects of, I mean, I can't say that we as everybody, because I can't speak for everybody. I can only speak for myself and you a little bit as well, because I know we've had the similar sort of thing, is that we just get so caught up in the perfection of everything and the intellectual part of it and forget probably what is the most important part of it, which is tuning into ourselves, into the intuition, into feeling into things, into like animals are one of the best to look at all of those kind of things. Like you can say to a dog in a really lovely voice, "You're a little fuckhead," and they'll think it's great because they go, I know that's a really bad example. Because they go by feeling. You don't have to say anything to them. They actually just know. Like if you've had animals and things like that, like when you've been sick, they just automatically suddenly come up and start cuddling you and whatever. Like it's not an intellectual thing.
Except my cat. But anyway.
Yeah. Cats are a little bit different.
Actually, no.
Cats are just as an example. Cats are just
I lie though. When I did have COVID though, she absolutely sat on me.
Yeah.
But then I was like, get off me because I can't breathe.
I can't breathe. It's like you're actually suffocating me.
She was trying to sit on me to...
They try to heal you in their own little way and to comfort you. So it's sort of, they don't do that from an intellectual point of view or over-analyzing point of view or an academic point of view or any of those sort of things. It's back to that feeling and that felt sense and I guess connecting into that emotion and things like that, because they love you, they want you to feel better and all the rest of it, so they're connecting into it. Sorry,
I was just listening. I'm wondering. Puppy is making noises, and so I was like, hang on, wait, what? But,
what's
sorry
happening?
About that. If anyone's wondering what that was all about, I took one earpiece off.
I did. I was thinking
because I could hear
listening.
You know when you hear the high pitched sound of a dog like whimpering? Is that the word? Like when they
where they kind of whine or whimper.
I was just making sure she's okay, but I can hear my husband out there. Anyway.
Look at you, good daddy.
Oh well, you know.
See. Just worry, little baby.
I'm in a room with the door shut and headphones on. Like
she's been very good. Yeah. I honestly thought we would have scratching on the door or something or barking. Well, no, she can't because she can't get through.
She can't get to that door.
Yeah, but I thought she might be like trying to make it known that she's out there and you're in here.
She's a chow chow. She sleeps most of the goddamn day.
That's true.
Anyway, so what I wanted to say is like, and see that this is the thing is that when this all came up for me is when we spoke to Veronica.
Yeah.
If you don't know who I'm talking about, a couple of episodes
ago. Go back to that one too. That was a brilliant episode.
So episode 64, I believe it was, with Veronica Varlo. And so with her book and the way she created it, she's like, there's literally bits of like coffee stain from my coffee mug. There's like, my lipstick. There's literally everything all over her book of shadows.
They're just like little notebooks.
And when she was saying on that interview, she said, oh, you're like, all these people, like, you have to be this expensive book and has to be perfect and leather bound. And I'm like, guilty as charged. And it's like, you have to have the perfect set of pencils. Mine are Derwent's. And you have to have it like,
Of course they are.
But yeah, so like I was the person who was doing all those things, thinking it had to be perfect. And then now it's incomplete.
And then at the end of the day, who's got a working book?
She does.
Yeah.
I do not.
And we do that to ourselves though, don't we? So much because we get so caught up in the perfectionism of it. And I mean, that's not to say, because you have, if you like, I'm the same. I don't actually have, I guess, a book of shadows that is one beautiful
physical book. Yeah.
I've got things, lots of places. I've got them in folders. I've got all the stuff. Like it's all there. I've got one. It's just not in a very nice, beautiful packaged thing.
No.
Which again, mine hasn't come from that because of the same reason as you, that I know I don't want to write in a nice book. And then do you know what the thing is for me is actually the order, like having all the things together.
Mine has little screws, so I can unscrew it, change the
so
order,
you can change yours. But if it's just the book where you can't change it, I don't want to put something and then put something different and then have to put another thing. So it could be like herbs.
Get a book that you can change the pages on.
Do you know what? I'm trying to just go against my nature and be okay with it and to create a contents page and just have the numbers. And when I want to look for something, I look for that and then there it goes.
Oh yeah, my OCD can't handle that.
I know. But this is what we're saying, though, that you've got to embrace it. I mean, I know we've gone on a bit of a tangent about Book of Shadows and things like that as well, but it comes down to that same kind of reasoning behind
over-intellectualizing
your craft and losing that intuition.
It's a fucking book.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's a book.
It's a book.
And you know what? It's words. And that's not to say that particular rituals and things like that aren't supposed to be done. There is a reason for that. There is a reason that there is a particular order to things, and there is a reason you put in certain things in place. However, don't let that be the thing that stops you. But then also don't let that create a craft that becomes, I guess, a bit watered down and a bit surface level, I guess, because you're just kind of doing the motions. You're saying the words because you think that's what you're supposed to say, whereas you're really missing that bit that's tapping into your own intuition, tapping into that feeling sense, tapping into the reason why you are doing it in the first place, and knowing what that is. You
gave us a good segue too, because another topic that we talked about recently, and this is how we met, was through tarot.
Yes.
In 2021, I smashed through, I think, how many, like 4 or 5
fundamentals, I think, and
course,
then
plus an intermediate and an advanced tarot course, as in I was teaching them
literally back to back.
And I had my teacher's hat on for that entire year, from the end of 2020 until the start of 2022. That entire year was full of back to back. As soon as one class would finish, the next one would start.
Yeah.
And I got to a point where, because I'd gotten to the point of just constantly reciting meanings of cards and how to do this and how to do that and how to find the symbols and the intellect
and the different layers to it, adding in more of the academic things or of the more layers to it, adding the different things.
So because like people wanted me to teach them how I read, and I'm like, oh, well, I can't teach you intuition.
No.
I can teach you what I look for in the cards from an academically, like this symbol to me means this.
Yeah.
This symbol to me means that. When I see these symbols together, it means this. Like, so academically, I could sit there and say that, but intuitively, sometimes all that goes out the window and it doesn't mean anything that I've just taught you. And
that's
my
right.
students like, what? You just told us it means this, but then you said, but in this reading, it doesn't. I'm like, well, that's because I'm looking at it in context to where it's placed and what's next to it.
The other cards.
What's, all of that. And it changes. And then what vibe I'm getting off them. And they're like, vibe. I'm like, what I'm feeling from my client. And I'm like, but so how do I know what the right thing to say is? I'm like, there's no right thing. Everything is the right thing.
That's right.
And so it's funny that teaching people to be intuitive but also giving them like at least the fundamental basics on understanding the cards.
Which was like an intellectual text kind of meaning in a way.
Yeah, just to get them started. But I would always
because you
encourage
need that,
following your own intuition. You need some starting point. You can't just
always
go, here's some cards, do a reading. Like it's
that's
that
it.
simple. Everyone would fucking do it.
That's right. But that's because as a beginner, you need that foundation first. You need to have, it's kind of like you need to, what is it, where you need to know the rules to be able to break them.
Yes.
Kind of thing. Like you need to be able to have that thing underneath it, and then you can add in all the extra stuff.
Yeah. So it got to the point where even in that, because teaching tarot became so not robotic, that's not a good word, but because I would always add my own spin on everything.
Yeah.
But like it got to a point where I was almost in autopilot. When I was teaching, I was in autopilot of what each card meant. But then when I would go and try to do a reading for someone, I was like, hello, spirits? Hello?
Hey, crickets? Hear the crickets chirping.
I'm hearing nothing. Hello.
That's it. But it's also the fact that then you start to kind of recite those same kind of things because you're not trusting your intuition anymore.
I just go back to what I've taught my students.
Yeah, because I know that there was that same kind of thing that you kind of then have a little bit of a conflict of, hey, I've got this thing coming through as intuition, but I've been teaching this meaning for the last how many times. Okay, I need to say this meaning, but hang on, I actually probably should have trusted my intuition. Yeah, and move forward.
That was another pickle that I went through during this hiatus period of funkiness. Not as in funky, like funky. Okay, stop dancing.
If you're listening to this, then you really need to go onto YouTube.
Yeah,
even just this little part.
But no, it was actually on that dancing note, I was actually saying to Vicky before, like, because sometimes we can take a step forward and then take 3 steps back, and then we kick ourselves in the nuts for that.
Yep.
But remember, 1 step forward and 3 steps back is nothing more than a cha-cha-cha.
See, I love that. I love it. It's just like
cha-cha-cha, forward and cha-cha-cha. Anyway.
Would you say, can I ask you a question? Would you say now, because this is something I was just thinking about then, that having taken that break or having taken that kind of step back a little bit, do you actually think now that to some degree on your way forward now that your craft is actually stronger?
Ooh, that's a very good question. Do you know what?
In kind of highlighting all of these different aspects, and that to some degree it's almost like a little shake up a little bit.
I actually think yes. Because I thought I was done with perfectionism. But this has just highlighted to me that no, you ain't.
You just put it in a different spot.
I've just reached another layer of perfectionism that needs to be uprooted and pull the mandrake from its head and then put it back in. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know why I went to Harry Potter with that, but anyway.
God.
But yeah, no, I think you are right in what you're saying, is that because
we need that a little bit.
Do the reset to recognize where I was going wrong, to then practice what I'm preaching.
Yeah.
Because obviously everyone that watches and listens to this, bad English. If I said it in Serbian, I'm sure it would have been.
I was going to say it would have been perfect.
But yeah, so anyone that watches or listens to this will know that I'm always banging on about, there's no one way to do things.
Yeah.
But why was I holding myself to a different standard?
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Where was that? Where was your own sort of giving yourself a break?
And it's almost like a do as I say, not as I do.
Not as I do. I know, that's what I was saying. That's such a parent thing.
Do as I say, not as I do. Because this is what happens at the gym. Like I teach
it's like you do.
Would I ever do these moves? Never.
No, but you need to.
I'm not doing those sit-ups. No, you
need to do them. That's right. But like how, even though in itself it kind of seems like it's quite awful or not good, like not a good space to be in, it's actually been a really good thing to create more clarity about things, and kind of, I guess, a little bit more clarity on what my path looks like or who I look like, I guess, a little bit as well. So it kind of became a good thing.
No, absolutely. I think that this funk hiatus, whatever we're calling it, blip, ginormosaur blip, Blipposaurus rex, that's what we call it.
I love it.
I think this Blipposaurus rex that manifested was necessary, because I always say that the universe works in marvelous ways, and it always presents us with things that we need to deal with at that moment, and it will only ever give us what we can handle.
Yeah.
I believe all those things to be true in my own paradigm. So the fact that this has happened, it was another test of, can you overcome this, and what tools do I need to have, or what lessons do I need to learn in order to get over this funk, it's almost like it was testing my faith and my belief system in itself, because I could have easily thrown this all to the wayside and gone on with a different tangent in life. But this is kind of gone, are you still serious about this? Is this still relevant and prevalent in your life? If not, fuck it off. Otherwise, you need to find some way to get out of this funk and get back into it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely.
I'm very handsy today.
You are very handsy. I like that. It's good. It's fine. There's nothing. And I've also found that it's not necessarily like a just picking up where you left. Sorry. It's not just a picking up where you left off. It's a whole new level.
Yes.
Like everything is that whole new level. It's been like a shift.
Yes.
To go a little bit deeper.
Yes. So
trust your intuition. Don't get too intellectual.
That's exactly. I was like, where were we going?
Well, I know where we're going with it.
But that is legitimately where we're trying to get to, is to trust your intuition and not to over intellectualize every goddamn given thing.
Yeah, that's right. And to remember that, like, that felt sense and what you feel and what you're actually really come back to what it is that you're actually wanting to do, what you're trying to connect to. What if you're doing a ritual or you're saying something, like, why are you doing it? You just want to say it for the sake of saying it, or connect in, there's a meaning behind that. So really feel into that.
Yeah. Even the other thing is like talking to spirit, like, it's like, oh, I have to address them in this particular manner. My spirit guides laughed at me when it's like, how do you want me to address you? They're like, what?
Cup of tea.
I'm like, well, how should I address you? They're like, just
say hi. Say hello.
Although I did give one of them sass one day. I'm like, yo, what's up in the hizzle?
Yeah, I wouldn't do that.
And I wouldn't do that. Like, bitch, you broken?
Yeah, that's it. I'm like, no, that's too far.
Yeah.
That's too far. Don't trust it that far. Don't go that far. It's like, no.
Wouldn't it be cool if you could just have your app on a phone that you could just go, for your spirit guide, press 1. For the angels, press 2. For the god, press 3. For the goddess, press 4. For an elemental, press 5.
Spirits of the planets. No.
To talk to the poltergeist currently residing in your basement, press 9. Or press 666 for the devil. Oh my God.
Oh gosh, there it goes.
I think I've lost the plot.
I think we might have a little bit.
No, that's okay.
Now it's time to rein it in now.
Rein it back in.
We need to rein it back in. Back to where we were. Stop intellectualizing everything.
Yeah.
Well, I would actually really just love to know also, like, we've given a few examples for ourselves. What other aspects or any aspects of your own practice have you got too intellectual with, or too academic with, or kind of got to that place where you just kind of really, if you sit back and look at it, you're just kind of saying the words. You're not really doing the thing. You're kind of just saying the words. Like, what aspect? Where has that been for you?
Classic example, and I know this is going to cause some controversy. So bitches come for me. I don't care. Like, I'm a gay man from Noble Park. I can handle my shit. So come for me if you want. Anyway, so this is one that causes so much contention on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
The Wiccan read.
Oh.
Right? Even just the simple one.
Yes, it does.
Like the whole thing. I can't even remember the first line.
Oh, I can't even.
Is it bide the Wiccan read?
I was about to say, I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't even remember.
Bide?
Yeah,
is it bide? Yeah. And then 8 words the Wiccan read fulfill, and it harm none, do what you will. Even just the start and end of it, those little bits.
That little paragraph.
The amount of fuckery that I see on the internet about, the Wiccan read says this, and that's just something that someone made up, but half the people arguing either A, don't use it, B, don't fucking understand it, or C, over intellectualize it, Do you know what it boils down to? Don't be a fucking douchebag. Don't do anything
Pretty
to others
much.
that you wouldn't want done to you.
Yeah, basically.
Which is
And
basically
you know what?
saying, don't be a dick.
Yeah, pretty much. Don't be a dick. And that's just not in your magical life. That's just in everyday life as well.
Everyday life. Don't be a fucking dick.
That's
It's
right.
that simple.
That's basically what it is. And again, it's that same thing. Everybody takes, if it doesn't resonate with you, then that's cool. Don't do it.
Don't
use it.
Move on.
That's it. Keep going. And then the people that it does resonate for, find what it actually means to you, not because somebody's told you to do it or because this is what it is. Just why.
Yeah. And
in a feeling sense.
This is really going to trigger some people potentially. But I guess if they're getting triggered by this, they're probably not the type of people that listen to our show anyway. But like, and if you are those keyboard bros that look for those posts to sit there and have your 2 cents worth, Karen.
But not my mum, Karen.
No, not your mum, Karen. Different Karen. Hi, Karen. Hi, Karen. Vicky's mum. Not the type of Karen I'm talking about.
No.
But if you are one of those people that goes out of their way to pick apart every little thing, like, okay, cool. I'm talking to you right now. I see you. I hear you. I validate you. Now move the fuck on. Like, what do you need me to validate your intelligence and how much you know and how much research you can do to attack the other person that you don't know, that you'll probably never meet and hope you never get to meet because you don't have that privilege of meeting them because you've just attacked them. Anyway,
pretty much.
I'll get off my high horse.
Yes.
It's just something that I see so much in our community, that people feel the need to prove how intellectual they can be about all things witchery.
Yeah.
It's like, get over yourself. I hate to tell you, sunshine, but you ain't all that.
No.
Because
again, it's each person's craft.
With your intellectual garbage, like, okay, you want me to flop my dick out and show you how many books I've read? I can. I have a library full of them. I don't need to bang on about it on every goddamn freaking Facebook post. Like, oh, well, I read this book by this person and they said this, but then I read this book by this person and they say that you're wrong. I'm sorry.
No, that's right. But you know what? We can share that information.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? Like, we can share that information. We can still have that discussion about those things. We can still talk about those things. We can do it in a way that's not attacking somebody else or not just tooting your own horn or saying that my way is the only way. We can share,
or thinking that just because you read an extra book than me, that somehow you're better than me.
Like, that's right. Like, it doesn't matter. We can talk about it. How about saying, hey, I found this really cool thing when I was reading
this.
You might like this. There we go. And then everybody's learning, everybody's finding something else, and then they can find what resonates with them.
Yeah.
So let's just change all of those kind of things. And again, we're not knocking the fact, because I love books and I will continue to read. And we're not saying don't research or don't look into or don't.
If anything, I'm saying research more, read more.
Yeah.
But
with the context.
With a grain of salt.
Yeah. But then also do something with that.
Yeah.
Do something with that knowledge. Treat things. Go back into, just think about how oh my gosh, I can't even get my words out anymore now, that our intuition and our inner knowing and our inner feeling is also just as important as what you are reading, and
if not more important.
Yeah, because otherwise they're just words on a page.
Yes.
Really, they're just words on a page.
They're just words on a page of someone who just happened to have been found by a publicist to publish their book.
Yes.
Like, I'm not dissing authors. There's a lot of fantastic authors out there. But I'm just saying that we don't need to hold on to every last word of every author. And this that takes. And
you know what? I was about to say, most of the authors that we've spoken to as well, it's a similar kind of thing where they want to share their knowledge and share their points of view and things like that to give people something to work with and a foundation to move from, and then to create something else for themselves then with what feels right for them.
Yeah, exactly. And this is like, I mean, this has gone off on a bit of a tangent, but I don't care. The other thing that I hate is when people fact check authors and use Amazon reviews and public broadcasted posts to diss an author or to fact check them as like trying to say you're wrong, or when they just try to tear them apart in an Amazon review, knowing that that's going to damage their reputation.
I'm like, if you're going to write a review, make sure for one that you've read the book word for word.
Please. That's the minimal that you could do.
Please at least make sure.
Read to understand the book content. Then express your opinion to the author directly.
Yes.
Don't leave a shitty fucking review. Like, That doesn't achieve anything other than your own gratification of the fact that you think your opinion is better than someone else's.
Yes.
Oh, God, I could go on such a tirade about this. And that's only because I follow a lot of the authors that we've had on this show, and even some that we haven't yet had.
Yes.
And I've seen this has happened to
it's happened to quite a few
Matt
of them.
Oren recently. He's had some people coming for him. So shout out to Matt in case you listen to this episode. I don't know if you do listen, but
his is one of the books that I'm reading at the moment as well. I'm rereading that one. Psychic Witch. Yep.
Awesome.
That's in my list too.
So I've reached out to him, and he's going to be coming on our show at a future date for his new book that's coming out.
His new book, which is coming out, which is cool.
But I have seen some people do some really shitty things when it comes to his book. And it just irks me to no end, even though I don't have a personal relationship with him. I've only ever exchanged a few messages to him, but this chip on certain book witches' shoulders, it just really irks me.
Yeah, because again, it's trying to tell somebody what their truth is.
Yeah.
And we have no right to tell somebody else what their truth is at the end of the day, or what their craft is, or what their path is, or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
It's their, I mean, as long as it's come from a genuine place and they're putting out information that's been researched from their point of view and things like that, then, and most authors are putting things out as their opinion. This is what works for me. This is this is my experience. This is what I've done. This is what's worked for me.
Yes.
It's been tested and true. So
I know we've kind of gone
we've gone on all sorts of tangents there. I guess there's still relevance to it because it's all still relevant to everything. So
it's all about over intellectualizing your craft to the point of either A, not doing anything, B, ignoring your own intuition and own sound judgment, C, thinking that you can be a keyboard warrior and go on a tirade, or D, just being a dick in life.
Which none of our listeners are.
No, our listeners are not those people, but I'm hoping that they hear these words and recognize those people and don't give them any more attention.
That's right.
Just scroll. I see those words, I scroll.
Just keep on keeping on.
Once upon a time, the old me would be like, oh yeah.
No. Yeah, that's right. Whereas now it's like, nah.
I think
why am I going to waste? Well. That's right. It's also like, why am I going to waste my energy? Seriously, I'm not putting more energy into this.
Cannot be bothered. Yeah.
No, that's right. I'd rather put energy into things that fulfill me.
Into myself.
That's right. Into my own craft or my own things.
Yes, exactly. So I think this is
in true us fashion. We've gone on a few tangents.
But all relevant tangents.
All relevant tangents. But basically, like you said, it all boils down to intellectually, you know what? It's such a natural thing for people to do. And we all get in that trap of intellectualizing and reading too much and all of those kind of things. Don't forget how important your felt sense, your intuition, feeling into whatever it is that you're doing is just as important.
Do you know what I'm going to put out there as well?
Ooh.
Universe, if you're listening.
Another one. What have we got now?
I'm going to put this whole thing to bed by doing the goddamn things, submitting all my work.
Yes.
Picking up my cards and ignoring anything that I've academically researched about them because I haven't touched my cards in months. And that's not me.
No.
I shuffle them every day and I draw at least 2 cards every day. Usually. Bookend. And I haven't done that in months.
Yep. There you go.
Not since I last finished teaching tarot, which was towards the end of the year, I think early December.
Yeah.
So I'm going to hold myself accountable. I've put it out there.
I love it.
You as listeners, you can chase me up on this. Happy to give you a quick update the next time we record. But yes, anyway, so actually, hopefully by the time this airs, I would have done all of the things.
And I was going to say, you could have done the things.
Thank you, universe, for giving me the time, space, and energy to complete the things by the time we record or by the time this airs. Done. I've thanked them. It's happened. I've put it out there.
It's happening.
And so mote it be.
Done. I love it. Love it.
After that, I'll tackle the Book of Shadows. That's a bigger project.
I was going to say, let's not go too far too fast.
No. Little steps.
Remember, breadcrumbs, little breadcrumbs.
Yes.
I love it.
But on that note, I think that's a pretty good spot to wrap things up.
We'll wrap it up. So trust yourself. And don't feel bad, but also don't feel bad if you have got caught in that trap either. Like if you've got it caught in that intellectualized trap of things.
No, just pull yourself out of it. And if you can't,
and just do the thing, just have a go.
Join our Facebook group. Tell us that you're stuck in this downward spiral rabbit hole of academic BS.
And then let's all help each other get out of it.
And we will all, as a community, we will pull you up. We'll throw the ladder and we will pull you out.
Love it.
Yes. Until next time, everyone, I hope you've enjoyed this episode. Like, comment, subscribe, share, all the things.
All the things.
And we'll talk to you soon.
Here, there. See ya. Bye.